A very green morning to all the viewers who are watching this podcast with us. Today, I have a very special guest, and I'm super duper proud to invite and host my cousin Aarav Seth, who's a young climate activist and is doing so much for our mother planet. And every time I look at his work, I feel so motivated to do more for our planet. With this, I welcome Aarav. How are you?
I'm doing well, Shrey. How are you?
All good, buddy. All good. It's so good to see you on a Friday morning. No, sorry, it's a Tuesday. On a Tuesday morning. So Arav is having summer vacations right now, and I'm really missing the times when I used to have summer vacations. Arav live most of this time because this time is not going to return. Now, Arav, first, I'll give a 30-second superhero introduction of Grow Diesel, post which I'll be requiring your superhero 30-second introduction. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Shrey Saxena. I'm a second generation social entrepreneur at Grow Diesel. At Grow Diesel, we are solving two big problems: waste elimination and biofuel generation. We convert waste into biofuel and green energy. Till date, we have eliminated more than 250,000 metric tons of waste and converted it into biofuel. With this, I would like to ask Arav to give his 30-second superhero introduction.
Yeah, I'm Aarav Seth. I'm a 13-year-old student activist and co-founder of We Rise Together Foundation, an organization that aims to create impacts on by tackling on the society by tackling many environmental and social issues at the ground level through three initiatives: She Hygiene, Sunday for Secure Future, and Helping Hands. The organization also focuses on accomplishing the 17 SDG goals and propagating them through awareness. Then that I am the ambassador of SDG Chopal as well as for SDGs for children, and I've also mentored several students about SDGs through the SDG Innovation Program.
That's wonderful, Arav. It's so good to know that you're doing so much for the society. Now, I want to ask you, what is that one crazy story from your school life that you are super proud of? जिसको सोच के you feel proud about yourself that you did that. What is that one story?
Yeah, so I have recently changed my school. So I'm now in a renowned school in East Delhi, and there is a fascinating story behind how I got the admission in the school. Like, so my parents were trying to get me the admission in the school for many years. Like they tried in first, third, and seventh, but unfortunately they did not get any reply from them. So one fine day, I decided to write an email to the director of the school, and we are actually friends on Twitter. Uh,
Wow.
and and he also recognizes my work time to time and appreciates my social and environmental work. So when I wrote the email to him, I got an immediate reply from him, which said that he would be glad to have me as a student in his school, and that I would be considered for the admission process. So soon I was invited to the school to interact with the principal, and I cleared the admission test and then followed the documentation and all. And finally, I got the admission to the school, and it really makes me proud to see that my work for the environment and for the society got me considered for admission into a school where my parents were applying for years. And so I did what my parents couldn't through my groundwork. So I mean, it really shows like your hard work pays off eventually.
That's a very fascinating story. And Arav, when I got to know this story, I was really stunned. And I have told this story to so many friends of mine. I think almost all my friends know about this particular story. So I would like to highlight it to the audience who will be listening to this particular podcast. Now, if you carefully listened to Arav's story, he was not working specifically to get admission in that particular school. He was continuously working for the society and environment, which was eventually getting noticed by someone whom he thought that whom he thought of writing an email to. And the school that he was trying to apply in, the school he was trying to be a part of since years, Finally, because of his work, he was able to get there. So this particular thing teaches us a story that if you are true to your work, no matter what you want, you will get that. All you have to focus constantly is on your work. So I think that is very inspiring, Arav. I think especially the youngsters who must be listening to you, they will be super fascinated by your story. And I think you have a story to tell to a lot of people as you grow up. Now, I want to ask you, Arav, what motivated you to do what you're doing right now?
So actually, like my journey started not out of motivation, but rather out of the worry for climate, for the environment. So when I was just 8, I was watching this television show, and from that I got to know about global warming and climate change. Like I pondered upon it, and I searched about it, and I got to know what it really is, and I was so shocked to see that my future, the future of my family, is in danger, and that like we'll all be victims to this menace, and that we need to do something about it, because we cannot put humanity in danger. We cannot have the human race end due to climate change. So I thought of like doing something about it, even though nobody really, if none of my friends support me, I'll still do it. That was my thought, and I started small by planting trees every weekend, and I also tried to reduce the use of plastic in my day-to-day life. And it was slowly and steadily that I convinced my friends to join me as a team in my plantations, and uh, we planted many trees in 2019 and 20, and ultimately in 2021 I established my own organization, We Rise Together Foundation, and through the organization, we have planted many trees. I myself have planted over 4,500 trees till date,
Wow.
and yeah, so and it is only possible because I had the support of my team, and I was I was determined to make an impact on the society. So that's how my journey started, and that's how I reached here.
That's pretty amazing and inspiring, Arav. And I would like to bring it to the audience here. Now, if you listen to Arav very carefully, he's not a traditional activist who's just ranting about environment and climate change. He's someone who's actually taking actions himself. And at the same time, he's creating awareness and he's motivating people. So, a lot of times we have seen that someone who's trying to do something for environment and society, he gets criticized. उसके ऊपर मीम्स बनने लगते हैं, उसको ट्रोल करते हैं लोग. But and at times seeing that how young he must be, it might be taking a mental toll on him as well. But the thing that I want to specify over here is that he is not just talking about it, he's actually doing something about it. So if you ever criticize someone who's actually doing for the work and you are not doing anything about it, I think it's time that you have a reflection instead of criticizing. But I think that is very inspiring out of what you are doing. So that brings me to the next question, and that is, uh, what has been the biggest problem that you faced when you were conducting all these social activities? You can talk about any of the initiatives, whether it's the plant a drive, whether it was the she hygiene. What was the biggest challenge that you faced?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that me and my team faced was when, like, through our initiative She Hygiene, what we do is that we distribute eco-friendly sanitary pads to underprivileged women and girls on a monthly basis. And we have distributed over 4,000 sanitary pads till now. And this result did not come without any problems. Like in the first few drives, when we were going to give out the sanitary pads, we often face challenges like the girls there, they had a taboo surrounding menstruation embedded in their minds, and they were when we would give them sanitary pads, they'd shy away from taking sanitary pads, especially from our male volunteers. And there was one case where there was a girl orphanage when we went to distribute sanitary pads into there. And when we reached there, they restricted the male volunteers from giving the sanitary pads because they thought that it would make the girls uncomfortable, and they would shy away and all. So although we still gave them the pads, but it like destroyed our motto of kind of like making them aware about menstrual hygiene and breaking the taboo surrounding it. So that was a really difficult task to break the taboo surrounding it, because as you know, in the deprived section, most of the women are not like really open about it, and not even in the deprived section, even in all the classes, they are still not open about their period problems and all. And we wanted to break that taboo, to break that barrier. So we held many awareness sessions along with the girls, and we educated them about menstruation, menstrual hygiene, why is it important for in the female body. And it was slowly we uh, peeled off the layers of the taboo, and we ultimately created an environment where they were open to share about menstruation, their period problems, in with their family members and with their friends. So that was the impact we created by solving this huge problem, as we had distributing the sanitary pads.
I think that's a pretty moving story, Arav, because for your age, that you the things that you are doing at your age, uh, I never imagined that I could do something of that magnitude at your age, and breaking the taboos, creating an impact, and changing lives. Most importantly, this is what you are actually doing, and you are on a very right path. So we really need young people like you who can take these initiatives, who can take a step ahead, and they can work outside their classrooms, and they are not restricted just to their classroom studies, but rather to make some positive impact on the society. So I once again thank you for doing all the initiatives. Now I want to ask you that whatever problem you just told about, what have been your three major learnings, or rather you can just focus on that one major learning that you learned from the problems that you solved?
Yeah, so like from the problems that we solved as a team, we learned many things during that process. And first of all, was to like maintain patience and to be and maintain persistence, because like when we are solving the problem, like it requires a lot of patience to like overcome it, because like removing a taboo isn't something that is going to that we can do in one day. Like this taboo has been embedded in their mind for many years, and it is really difficult to break that taboo. And so we need to act, so that requires us to act consistently and maintain patience, and so that we don't give up on our practice, on our actions, on our efforts, and we do not fail to achieve the goal. So patience and persistence are one of the things that we learned uh, through this problem. And another thing that we learned is to never get discouraged while if the problem is not being solved. Never lose hope if we are failing in some things during the problem, because failures are the path to success, and without failures we cannot like there is nothing there is not a success if there are no failures. So we must never get discouraged, we must never give up on our problems, we must take actions to solve them. And the last thing that we learned from after solving this problem was to walk your talk. That means to like do what you preach. We like talked about how we usually talk about problems, how should we tackle them, but we ourselves do not take any actions about it. So we took actions about it, and we walked our talk. We did what we preached. So That was the main lessons that we learned through this problem.
I think you mentioned very important points, and the biggest takeaway if anyone wants to take is that do not get discouraged on your path to something. I mean, there will be a lot of times when you'll be pulled back, and at times you'll be pulled back by the people you are surrounded with, your family, your friends. These might be the people who might be pulling you back, and they might be the ones who might be discouraging you. But if you are determined enough that the path you are at is the path that you want to walk on, you just have to keep walking without getting discouraged. So thank you for that wonderful insight, Arav. Now, which brings me to that one person in your life, or rather, those few people whom you would really like to thank for making you the person who you are right now, apart from your family, apart from
Apart
your
from
parents.
Okay, apart from my parents, although the biggest contribution I think my behind the actions I've taken has been of my parents, but other than that, it would be of my team, my teammates, friends who have participated with me in my drives. Because without a team, like although you can make a difference as an individual on a large scale as well, but with a team, it just becomes more efficient, more effective. You are like there are only limited things that you can do yourself, as like running an organization especially requires you to have a team. That would be it is my team whom I'm the most grateful for, while being a part of the organization, being the founder of the organization, because without the team I cannot run the organization on my own, and without the team I cannot take like create a larger impact in the community, uh, uh, being the part of the organization. Yeah,
I
so it
think
would be
that is a very very important point. That if you have to go fast, there's a saying that if you have to go fast, run alone, run alone. But if you have to go further, you have to run with people. So I think that's a very interesting point that you made, Arav. Uh, Now I want to ask you that what is the most innovative thing that you have done?
Well, the most innovative thing that I've done is to start We Rise Together Foundation. Like like this, like I had a plan. Like people usually focus on one area through their organization. So, but I plan to do something different. I thought that through this organization, we'll be tackling three major issues. We'll be focusing on three fronts. That is the environment, and menstrual health, which comes under the domain of health only, and education. So this is done through our three initiatives: Sunday for Secure Future, She Hygiene, and Helping Hands. In Sunday for Secure Future, we plant trees every weekend, and also encourage the youth to take climate actions uh, uh, on individual level every weekend. And in She Hygiene, we distribute sanitary pads to underprivileged women and girls on a monthly basis. We are distributing sanitary pads to about 250 plus girls every month, and we also educate them about menstrual hygiene and why is it important for the female bodies. And lastly is Helping Hands, where we take used items such as books, board games, footwear, clothes, etc., which are in reusable condition, of course, from our known ones, from our friends, and we give them to the underprivileged section of the society, to the underprivileged children who do not have access to resources for education and entertainment. Like now, many of the children are able to learn and educate themselves with the resources we have provided them. Like we provided, during the pandemic, we have given about 1,500 books to such underprivileged children, and
Oh,
uh, yeah, so that's how we are tackling three fronts, three issues that are now at critical stages through We Rise Together.
that's very inspiring, Arav. And I think all the three things that you have picked All these things are very important, and you are on a very right trajectory. Which brings me to the next question: that if you are given $1 million right now, what is that one problem you will solve, and
Well,
how?
yeah. Uh, so $1 million is a huge amount. I mean, uh, it really like you can do a ton of things with $1 million. You can buy a house, you can buy a car. But I think of doing something different. I think of contributing to the society through these 10 crore rupees or 1 million rupees because I think service to others is service to yourself, and that's the like making contribution to the society is the greatest thing that I could do for myself. And with the money, I'd like to open a school for the underprivileged children. Uh, that would have educational that would have great education facilities, and it would be a zero emission, zero waste school, and all the it would be supplied with renewable energy. And there we'd like we'd not only focus on the academic education of the underprivileged children, we'd raise them as leaders and as change makers for the society, so that they can also contribute in some way. Because I think education is the key to lift people out of poverty. Like when we think of poverty, we usually think that it is lack of money, but no, it is lack of education that keeps people in poverty. If like a poor child get educated, he can do so much. After he gets educated, he could pursue a career. He could be a businessman. Like we have seen examples in real life. We have seen how a child of a rickshawala has cleared IIT, has cleared medical exams, and how they have become renowned uh, doctors and have got uh, jobs with huge packages in at great companies. So I think education is key to lifting people out of poverty and making them independent. Because like by donating money to people, they do not know how to use it. But by giving that money to an educated person, he knows how to make it 10 times or 100 times, and uh, he or she would know how to use that money in a wise way.
That's a very thought provoking and a very deep point that you mentioned, that poverty, people think that poverty is about lack of money, and it's actually not. It's about lack of education, and I honestly never thought about it from that perspective. So that is a very interesting perspective that you brought for me, and I think that is one thing that I'm going to take away from today's session. So thank you for that very deep insight, Arav. I mean, I'm pretty moved by the kind of knowledge you possess and the kind of approach that you have towards solving a particular problem. Which brings me to the last question of this section before we move on to the climate section, and that is the rapid fire round. So, in this round, you will not be allowed to think and you have to answer immediately. All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready
Are
for it.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready
Do,
for it.
do not keep muting yourself. Keep yourself on unmute only. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
So, you are not going to think, you are not going to take time. All right. Tea or coffee?
Coffee,
Books or documentaries?
books,
Sunrise or sunset?
sunrise,
Money or power?
power,
Street smart or book smart?
book smart,
Summers or winters?
winters,
Mountains or beaches?
mountains,
Would you like to travel in the past or future?
future,
How would you like to remember people when you are dead?
in a positive way.
All right. What is that one place you really want to travel?
Northeast India,
Okay. Settling in India in future versus settling abroad in future.
settling India in India.
All right. With this, we come to the end of the first part of this podcast. And now we will move to the climate action section. Although you already mentioned a lot of things about climate change and the actions and the work that you have been doing, but I will follow the format of this podcast and then we'll start with it. So, starting with, what do you think is the how do you think we can connect with the youth in an innovative way about climate change? And do you think that the current youth is doing enough to fight climate change or to take actions towards climate change?
Like the one of the most innovative ways that we can encourage the like we can make it effective in tackling climate change would be through the 3A principle that I follow, that is aware, act, and amplify. Like this it is a key principle when it comes to climate activism, especially so if you want to grow as a climate activist, like you need to first of all create awareness among the society, amongst the people, because creating awareness not only educates the other person but also makes them a part of the cause you are working for, part of the problem. So then they take a proactive approach to like solving that problem, and they'd also feel a part of the problem, because uh, then they feel that there's something wrong in this and they need to do something about it. Secondly, we need to take action. We need to walk our talk, because without taking action, there is no impact. There is no impact on the ground level. Like just talking is like hacking the leaves of the tree. What we need to do is act from the root, and is to impact the root level, and to really create a change in the community. And thirdly, amplify means to inspire other people through your actions, and that could be done by promoting your action, and as well as promoting those who are working for the same cause through several medium, like social media, podcasts, like you are doing today. You're amplifying my voice. So this is one example. Well, this is the 3A principle that is critical to be an effective climate activist. Other than that, could you repeat the other question?
My other question was that, do you think are the current youth doing enough to fight climate change? Are they taking steps at their own level to fight climate change?
Well, though it seems that the youth, like the like majority of the climate activists are youth, and it seems like the youth is doing most of the things to tackle climate change, and to an extent it is true. But the percentage of youth that is into climate activism is still really small. Like though I think the whole youth is aware about climate activism, about climate change and all, but only some portion of it, only some percentage of it are really doing something to tackle climate change, taking ground level actions to prevent climate change from happening. So our main motto here should be to motivate the youth to take actions, because youth is the leader of tomorrow, and we need to develop leaders out of youth, and create them with a mindset that they need to work for betterment of the environment. Uh, yeah, so I think that would be my answer to your question.
That's very insightful, Arav, for 14-year-old, right? You're a 14-year-old. For a 14-year old, I think that's a pretty intense knowledge that you possess. Uh, is there some interesting climate initiative that you are aware about that is going on in some part of the world? Some interesting thing, some interesting climate initiative.
Yeah, so actually, I recently heard about an initiative. Like it has been going for several years, and it was just started by two. I mean, it was just started by a couple, and they have brought it to a massive level. They have created an ecosystem out of it. So the two people are the Pamela Malhotra and her husband. Anil Malhotra, and they own the Sai Sanctuary in Karnataka, and which is the only private wildlife sanctuary in India. So what they did that they bought a land, a 300 acre land, which was a barren land in 1991, and then they started to reforest that land. They forested the whole land for 26 years, and they actually created an ecosystem out of it. And today, when you see the century, it is home to more than 200 plus globally endangered species, or including plants and animals, and like species like the Asian elephants and even the Royal Bengal tigers. So like there's an interesting story about them, like how they first came to the place and the land was almost barren, and how they transformed, what difficulties they faced while transforming the land. And it is a really interesting story about them. It is a long story, uh, and I've read several articles about it, and it is really tremendous. It is really wonderful how can individual actions too can impact the society at a larger level. These two individuals have done so much on their own, that it is really impacting the environment there, in the district they live, that is the Kodagu district.
That's a pretty intense story which you shared, and I think I would really love to read more about this particular thing. And I think we really need certain these type of people who are doing these initiatives, who are taking certain steps on their own rather than just waiting for some corporates or some governments to take that action. They are taking their own actions, and I think, like you mentioned, that it's about walking our talk.
Yeah.
So it's not just about talking, it's also about walking that path. And I think you are a very great example of that, because you are not just talking about it, you are taking actions yourself. So I think that is what makes you a very unique climate activist. So never stop working. Now, if there's this one climate pledge that you would urge the viewers to do, what will that be? One climate action that you would urge the viewers, which they can start even just after hearing you. One climate action.
Okay, one climate action that I would urge the viewers to do is to um, plant trees. Just that, because when trees are like really interesting organisms. It is a really interesting creature because trees are actually a solution to everything, all the ecological problems. They prevent floods. They provide oxygen when the air is bad. They purify the air. When there is a shortage of food, we can plant fruit trees that give us fruits. And when there is no rain, we plant trees to bring the rain. And uh, when it also prevents soil erosion. There are a ton of things that trees do for our ecosystem, and in fact our whole ecosystem is based upon trees. Even organisms, even animals live on trees. And they contribute to the betterment of the environment. They can and So that's why trees are really important and vital in our ecosystem. They are like these pillars of our ecosystem, and we cannot maintain an ecosystem without them. So I would urge all the people watching this podcast right now to at least plant one tree every year on your birthday, and nurture that tree so that it grows into a big tree, and it benefits the environment in a better way. And it will still remain and it will be your last sign, because it will still remain after you die. Yeah.
That's a very, very intense conversation, and in very good points that you shared, Arav. And I think after having a conversation with you, I would really like to say, Japna, to see Greto. This is the first professional conversation which we have had. Okay, else
Yeah.
we are just chit chatting and we are having fun. You are always like, Shrey Bhaiya. But it was very phenomenal talking to you, Arav. I mean, I never thought that I'll be having these kind of conversations with you. But what you are doing, Arav, it's very inspiring.
And
And
Shrey,
I'm
I would
so proud of you. I'm so damn proud of you.
thank
So
you.
just keep doing this phenomenal work. And I'll always be there to support you. I'll always be there at your back. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Arav. Is there anything you would like to say at the end of the podcast?
Yeah, actually, I would like to mention that like we often see people who blame the government for not doing anything about climate change. We blame that the government is doing nothing to solve climate change, and yeah, like it is also their responsibility, but it is our responsibility as well. Like our nature is a shared responsibility of everyone, both the government and the people. So we as individuals must like take this responsibility in our hands, and we must act about it. Even the article 51 AG from the Indian Constitution notes that every citizen of India shall protect and preserve the natural wildlife and ecosystem of the nature and the environment in India. So it is really, really important that we as individuals also take the actions on the ground level, and also urge the government to take actions as well on a large scale. Yeah.
That's again a very deep insight which you shared, Arav. And I think the kind of approach that you have, the kind of knowledge that you possess, it is actually going to help a lot of people and it will impact lives of a lot of people. With this, we come to an end of the Impact podcast with yet another amazing guest with us, the youngest person whom I've ever hosted on the Impact podcast. And I really thank you for taking out time for this, because if you would not have taken time for it, I would not have taken you for a drive next time. With this, we come to an end of this session and we will see you in the next one. Thank you. Let me
Thank you.
close the recording.